muck and talk about different things. But when you put it all together, Thanksgiving isn't that far away. And I've had a lot of incredible memories on that day. And to me, I like watching the games, but covering them was great. You're right. I mean, I go to NFL games a lot, and you can always get whatever you want. That's for sure. Instead of the limited portions that you're going to get over the concession stand and pay an arm and a leg. So I don't know, but I don't know. Bring out the cranberry sauce. I really don't. Nowadays, I'm not a fan of buffets, except when I'm over at a game. You won't see me spending much money out on the streets getting buffets because they only get you into trouble on the scale. But I don't know.
Not only that, Scott, and since you brought up that point, I'll simply say this too. I'm not really a big fan of buffets anymore, in particular too. Now, when it comes to the free food in the press box, I don't look at that as a buffet. I don't really look at that as a buffet, and maybe that's because I just have mentally just taken myself away from that state of mind to just realize that, hey, there's free food here while I'm working. Let me take advantage. But when it comes to buffets in general, no, I'm not a fan of buffets in general because I'll tell you a story right now. I used to be a huge fan of Ryan's and Golden Corral when I was a child.
Right.
And I really wish that Ryan's was still around. Because if Ryan's was still around, Golden Corral may be getting put out of business. That's just how I feel about that. Ryan's was a spectacular restaurant, especially for me when I was younger. And they went away officially when I was in the 8th grade. That was a very down day for me in particular. But one of the things go ahead.
Well, Morrison's Cafeteria was one. Yeah, I don't view, just so you know, buffets associated with going to NFL games. I mean, don't get me wrong, they feed you well, but I'm not dumb enough to go out there and pig myself out knowing, first of all, you get fed 2 or 3 times a day there. And they make sure one thing you got to understand, pal, is when I was covering the draft with the Lions, man, the only way they can keep us there 10, 12 hours is feed us all the food you can, because those days are long, man. You spend an entire weekend there, you get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and leave it around 11, 12 o'clock at night. I can't imagine you've ever worked a shift that long, let alone 2, 3 days in a row for the draft. But, then we had all kinds of press releases. The coaches, the assistant coaches were out there, and they treated us awfully good in a lot of different ways. So Morrison's Cafeteria was one in the Florida area that was good. Golden Corral, and now Sweet Tomatoes, you can eat a lot. But the list goes on and on. I know we're taking this food thing to a certainly different level. But in the end, I don't view sporting events as buffets. The other ones I'm talking about are the ones that you buy in the streets. So I'm with you there. So go ahead, continue.
Well, see, when it comes to Golden Corral in particular, like I said, they were a favorite of mine up until the point that I was about 15 years old. And I used to not take notice of things like this, but when you start to hear these little mumblings and these little rumblings of just certain people who are around you that will say, I just can't do buffets anymore because sometimes you'll see people playing in the food and just doing certain things. When you're not watching for things like that, you don't pay attention to things like that.
Right.
So I have a great aunt who said that to me one day when I was talking about going to Golden Corral. And lo and behold, Scott, just that conversation in particular, that day in particular when I went to Golden Corral, it was now stuck in my psyche. All right, let's watch out to see if anybody's playing in the food. And lo and behold, there's somebody playing in the food. As a matter of fact, I saw someone take a spoonful of the green beans, lick them off of the spoon that you get the green beans off of for the serving and put it back in. So from that day forward, I have not looked at buffets the same way.
Right.
And I know that we shouldn't judge things based on just what we see a few knuckleheads do.
Right.
But how many of those knuckleheads are really out there is one of the questions we really have to ask ourselves with things like this.
Well,
and when you have buffets of that sort, it's really easy pickings for anybody.
True. Yeah, I mean, there are times, it's been a long time when I went to a Chinese buffet, And one of the reasons they had some good stuff over there, but one of the things I always like is sushi. I don't know if you're a big sushi guy, but I like it. Sushi's pretty good stuff. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of buffets, but I don't view what you get in the press box with the press area as a buffet style. They can give you generous portions. You go back there as much as you want, but you know, I mean, they treat you good, but you're also there you have a job to do, and they're going to feed you. But that's part of being in the business that we are. We're approved media. We have to act like professionals. And if you don't act like professionals, what's going to happen? You're not going to go back there. And as I get older and older and older, I'm not buying tickets to go to these events. No way. But let's go back
and I will say this. I've had one college game in particular at Savannah State that just so happened to have been a home game. And it actually happened during the 2018 season, where it was the first time I actually saw a buffet that was set up for the press. There were 3 different types of chicken, 2 different types of rices, 4 different types of vegetables, 3 different fruit trays. That's a buffet for me, because we don't usually get that as a press in general anyway. You know, you'll have entrees of different foods and everything like that, but not to that extent. That was something different for me to see that day. So that's the one time I do that as a buffet in particular with that experience. But to my knowledge, that was a clean buffet.
Right. Yeah, but the point of the matter is, okay, you know, eating what you want is one thing. Let's go back to one of the original things that you talked about, though, and we'll talk about the Thanksgiving thing. We got another 5 to 7 minutes so we can go here. Again, we'll go back to least favorite dishes. I don't have any. Most favorite dishes, I love the turkey. I do. I think it's great if it's cooked right, not the way I do it. And like I said, the stuffing's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Pun intended. But, you know, I like macaroni and cheese. But you want to go ahead, since you're not around your folks anymore, at least this year, you should go to Cracker Barrel. They make a great spread.
I'm definitely going to put that under heavy consideration. I'm more than likely going to do it. I'm more than likely just am. But I will say this. I've talked about the Cornish game here. I'll give you my favorite preference of how I prefer a turkey on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Because I've had them 5 different ways. I've had them baked. I've had them fried. I've had them roasted. I've even had them grilled. And that was an interesting experience to have a grilled turkey. Because I know it's possible, but it's not usually something that most people would consider doing on Thanksgiving in particular. Not grilling a turkey. Now, it actually turned out to be very good. I wasn't around when the turkey was being grilled, but it actually turned out to be really good. You know, the cook did a great job with the turkey that day. I have an uncle who cooks an awesome fried turkey. So, Scott, for me, there's nothing better than a good, slow, oven-roasted turkey. That's the best way I love my turkeys, especially on Thanksgiving. But just when we're talking real turkeys in general and how they're being cooked, I love to have them slowly cooked in the oven and roasted. That's the best way for me.
So what's your favorite part of the turkey?
The breast.
I love
the white meat. I'm a white meat guy in general anyway, Scott. I love white meat with the turkey. I love white meat with the chicken. I'm not really a dark meat type of person.
Well, I like the skin. Sorry. I like the skin, pal. Of course, there's not a lot of skin. Even when I'm a broiled turkey, I still have the skin, not just much of anything else.
Hey, and that's one of the reasons I love it as a roasted turkey as well, because of the skin.
Right.
Like, it's just different than the fried turkey for me, just simply because I'm not a person who likes to eat a lot of grease. And no matter how healthy turkey is, when you put something in oil and you drop it down to fry, there's going to be grease that comes out of it anyway. Mm-hmm. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just giving you my preference on that in particular. So I'm definitely right there with you on the skin. But while I'm saying I'm not a huge dark meat person, you can roast a good turkey leg a certain way, I'll definitely take that over the breast sometimes too.
Well, I think they actually at the Thanksgiving games usually talk about the turkey leg when they cut the turkey up. So I think you're onto something there. Really delicious topic that you've come up with. Yes, there was a pun intended for that one, but I don't know. I'll go ahead and take my stuffing and my macaroni and cheese and the turkey if it's cooked right. As long as I don't cook it, we're in pretty good shape. And I don't mind laughing at myself either about it, Xavier. I really have no problem with it. I think it's just one of those things. I think one of the things that I like about Thanksgiving, outside of spending it with my beautiful wife, is where I'm going to spend it from year to year and what family members I'm going to be around. Because no matter what anybody says, you know, you have a new set of memories. And watching the games, you don't know who's going to be singing the national anthem and providing the entertainment. So, anything else you want to add to this pre-Thanksgiving broadcast?
No, I believe that we've said everything that we can say with this so far, and I just hope that everyone's had a great time with this as we have. I know that we spoke about many different aspects as well of going a little off the rails with the Thanksgiving dinner, but I hope that we were able to bring a lot of joy and laughter to everyone tonight.
I hope so too. I'll tell you what, one thing I don't like about this is you made me hungry too late at night, so I'll have to wait in the morning to have my omelet. But I'll tell you what, if that's the worst thing that happened to me on this broadcast, that you came up with a food subject that made me hungry, then life isn't all that bad, is it, for us broadcasters, huh, Xavier?
No, I'll take this any day.
Yeah, me too. Well, get a little bit of rest because tomorrow night you're going to be back on the Sports Exchange. Anything else that we're going to talk about the preview for tomorrow?
Yes, we're going to continue with our discussion about Tony La Russa and everything that we see that is going on with the Angels organization. And I'm going to talk a little Garrett Cole, too.
Right.
But I'm not going to talk his pending free agency decision. I'm going to pose this question to Scott on the air tomorrow. We learned the American League and National League Cy Young Award winners earlier this evening. Congratulations to Jacob deGrom of the New York Mets and also to Justin Verlander of the Houston Astros. But I'm going to ask this question to Scott tomorrow on the air. I don't want him to answer this right now.
Okay.
Did Garrett Cole get cheated out of the American League Cy Young?
No.
So we're going to cover that tomorrow on the Sports Exchange.
Yeah, the one thing Xavier and I can both agree on is, and we say this because we are respectful colleagues, is we don't believe in the words, "I told you so," do we, Xavier McKnight? Don't we feel that those words are sometimes disrespectful?
Yes, very disrespectful.
Because I think when anybody says, "I told you so," means like, you know what? It doesn't matter. There's more to life than just coming up with things where I told you so. You know what? Anything can be hotly contested with something that goes ahead as a subjective vote for whatever the reason that those individuals come up with it. But we're not in the business to say the "I told you so." It's our responsibility as professional journalists, okay, to not brag about us, but to inform you. And that's really what we stand for, right, Xavier McKnight?
Yes.
All right. So on that note, everybody, we appreciate you listening to this edition of The Real and the Rare. And, you know, we really do our best to try to make sure that we have some great subjects that you can all bite into. So on behalf of
the X Factor, Xavier McKnight.
This is Scott Morganroth, the Motor City Madmouth. Hope you have a great night, and we'll see you on the Sports Exchange tomorrow night. Good evening, everybody.
Good night, everyone.